All right, now we're inside of marketing systems and we're on branding. And we have the great Anderson Harrison III here, marketing and brand story expert. Can you please share with people how they can now actually craft, flesh out, and come up with a good brand story that really connects with their customers?
Sure. So everyone has a brand story or a story about what brought them into the entrepreneurial space, right? And as I've said previously, my story is that after years of being in the marketing and branding field, that I saw that lots of attention was being placed on bigger entities, and the smaller guys, the startups, the minority owned businesses, the small businesses were often given branding components that were incongruent with who they were and the story that they were trying to tell. And so as a result, that chaos for me and wanting to eliminate that chaos from my own existence and from the people that I love and like, I decided to create Superlative, which is structured in a way that gives small businesses and minority businesses, especially, the opportunity to create um, excellent branding components, and tells a story that is both authentic and vulnerable, and knowing that that story should be shared and celebrated. And so in telling your own story, there are some things that you need to remember. There's a formula that helps guide you in that process. So the first one being something happened to you, or something happened to someone that you love or like, and it made you feel a certain way, right?
Mm.
So again, in my case, seeing these things happen, and also feeling that these people were experiencing this because of all of these systematic reasons, right? And then the next component being, what is my response to that? What will I do um, to take this pain point away from myself, from people that I love, like, or respect? um, and in taking that away, right, how will I do that, right? And so that is how you come up with your own story. So before Superlative, I was a chief marketing officer for a um, men's custom clothing boutique. And in talking to the CEO, she talked about, before having this clothier, that she was the CEO in a male dominated industry.
Mm.
Um, and, as is typical in the business sector, the outfit is, suit and tie and all of that. And so she often had to wear suits, but she did not like the way the suits made her feel. They were not customized. They, uh, typical suits have a business wear has a certain palette. The palettes are sometimes very dull, unimaginative, and it doesn't allow you to express your individuality. It didn't fit her body size and all of these different factors, right? And so that stayed with her and it affected her confidence as a person,
Mm.
right? So being in these spaces where confidence is key and you're a CEO just like everyone else, but
Yes.
you don't feel as confident as everyone else because your suit coat or the skirt part of your suit is not fitting you in a way that you feel is flattering, right? And so that was her pain point. This is what happened to her, right? This is what it made her feel like. It made her feel like she wasn't playing in the big leagues with the rest of the people, right? It made her feel inadequate. It made her feel less confident. Um, so her "what are you going to do about it" moment was when she decided to create this custom clothier, right? Because she also realized that there were other people that felt the same way she felt.
Wow.
So with her, it was like, I don't want anyone else to feel this way, right?
Mhm.
And so that is what ushers her into the entrepreneurial space, is creating this entity to make people feel more confident. And so when I'm brought on as the CMO and we're talking about just the different branding components of her business, I asked, what do you want people to feel? We know how you felt in that moment, but now what do you want people to feel when they put on a suit from your company, right? And so she says, yeah, I really just want people to feel like they can take risks, they can tackle life, and be their most confident self, and so on and so forth. And it hit me in the moment, in that conversation where we're talking. I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the tagline for your business. Take risk, tackle life,
Mm.
wear William and Lauren, right? And so that tagline came out of a pain point, came out of a resolution, came as a result of the wishes and wants that you have for people who engage with your process and engage with your product. Um, and it came just out of authentic conversation
Mm.
between two people who had a vested interest in making people feel better about themselves, right? So when we talk about the brand story and its authenticity, it's really important that you draw a circle around authenticity, because the old adage that the truth will set you free is really like true. Like the truth
Yeah.
um, will always be the most comfortable place in which you can speak from. It'll always be the most organic, right? And it'll always help you in how your company is guided as a result, right? So, because this is about taking risk and tackling life for this particular company, then everything that they are doing as it relates to the structure of the company, how they treat their employees, how they walk alongside their client or customer in the journey, um, uh, how they believe as it relates to social issues, how they believe as it relates to diversity and inclusion. All of that comes out of the story, and people know, right? If you say what you mean and mean what you say, when the story that you're telling matches directly with the way in which you do business, right? Um, and so, taking risk and tackling life, or in my case, providing um, the platform form by which your story can be told, shared, and celebrated, or how Apple wants to put out the most sleek and beautifully packaged and um, um, top of the line product. Like all of those promises, right, have their roots in the story, and that story is why you do what you do.
I love it. I love how you bring up the kind of formula
Hmm.
of being able to say, this happened, like you said before, that chaos, this happened. And a very important part is, this is how it made me feel, you
Right.
know, and then not wanting that to happen to anybody else. Because that's what really, matters and connects. I mean, I could even speak for collective success, as we all came together and we had this common thing of looking at the chaos of our generation, you
Sure.
know, the lack of financial education, the lack of job opportunity, the lack of understanding who we are and what we can become as a people, right? No college education of true self-development when it comes to psychology and who you are as a person. No really laid out wealth building personal finance courses. You can get personal finance on budgeting and managing, but what is the deliberate path to wealth in our society? And that was not being taught. And we all were collectively, underlyingly suffering from it and could see our peers suffering from it. It's something that no one really wants to talk about. So we all said, this makes us feel, one, like we had to really scrape and struggle to overcome it. But two, we were all really upset at the fact that unless we do something about it, people are going to continuously suffer from these two gaps in our ability to develop as successful adults. And so we all said, we're going to do something about it. And here we are together, collective, the collective success, helping others achieve success. And that is truly, like you said, the way a brand story is born. And I
Yeah,
just thank you for breaking that down the way you did.
no problem.